So we were about to cancel this halqa, right? And so we had a lot of calls from people saying that, but don't you know it's a holy night tonight? And this night is also called the Night of Atonement. So apparently it's the night in which God forgives sins. And also it's called Laylatul Bara, right? There's nothing about the night in the Quran, so it's not a Quranic concept. The only night that is mentioned in the Quran is the holy night. It's apparently the night in which the Quran was revealed, which is the night of power. It's called in the Quran. And so let's just engage with some of the information here and we'll just ask some questions around it, right? Human sexual behavior, like many other kinds of activity engaged in by human beings, is generally governed by social rules that are culturally specific. Now, some people who are in a relationship but want to hide homosexual or heterosexual activity from their partner may solicit sexual activity with others through personal contact. Why are sexual behavior governed by social rules?
You see, that's something that also puzzles me. Yes, I suppose when you say social rules, yes, but I mean, everybody is part of society, you know, so it's, you know, and obviously in what I do as well, you often find people that don't practice a certain, or that don't practice, or have different sexual orientations. You'll find that they would be the ones that would say that the way that you have your sex is wrong.
That begs the question, is there a right and a wrong?
That's it, yes.
In society?
Yes.
What would we consider as a sex crime and why?
Shouldn't consent be an issue when it comes to crime? I don't know,
I'm just kind of wondering now, talking about this consent and obligations and stuff, what about the sex workers, for example, a rent boy who goes with other men but he doesn't do it really for enjoyment but for money?
Okay.
So I'm asking, is that not possibly a sex crime?
It's not about what God says, it's not about what the Quran says, it's not about what Mandela says. But it's about the ramifications of our actions. Another question, why is there a need to hide one's sexual identity? So why, again, okay, we understand why you're doing that, because you want to fit into society. Okay, so you don't want to be a misfit.
Maybe we don't want to disgrace our forefathers.
At some point it was illegal.
Not wanting to be victimized. So it's about survival. Yeah.
Suicide?
Suicide. No. Unhappiness. But I guess the list can go on.
Double life. Double life.
Double life. Right? Addiction. Right? It doesn't work to hide one's sexuality because there's ramifications to that which will affect society. I mean, is it a good thing that religion should determine how you should have sex?
Really, you know, when it comes to, I think, sexual morality, you'll find that, especially in the Christian religion, you'll find that 99% of how they will perceive other people is based on their religion.
But would we consider prostitution as beneficial to society? Or would we consider it as harmful to society? Or are we neutral about it?
Personally, and this is obviously a personal opinion, I believe that they're a crucial part of society because they provide a service. Right. And I think the only threat that really comes in here could be health reasons. So that's all health afterwards. My name is Martin Vosloo. I'm from Eskom, I'm from Joburg, and obviously my field is HIV related. I also lived with HIV for many, many years. I was diagnosed in 1990. It seems to be like we're very comfortable in talking about where we come from and, you know, what work I do and the car that I drive and those kind of things. But really when it comes to sexual issues, it's something that we tend to shy away from. And irrespective of how we have our sex, and when you have sex with somebody under the influence or using drugs, then obviously there's an element of taking advantage of that individual as well, sort of point of view. People have this notion that HIV is something that happens to people that sleep around. Now coming to anal sex, if you look at how the virus works, if you look at the dynamics of HIV, and where does the virus focus? The virus focuses obviously on the CD4, which is the white blood cell of the immune system. Now, in the anal area, there's a high concentration of CD4 cells. Orally, you can also pick up the virus.
Would you say that anal sex is still risky even if both doesn't have the virus?
No.
Because there's also the perception that anal sex does bring about HIV.
No. No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. Not in the least. Outside of the human body, the virus won't survive. Once the virus is exposed to atmosphere, which means, you know, the virus dies off. In 72 hours, I can assure you this virus is absolutely going to find the CD4.
What are the most common ways, reported statistically, ways of contracting the HIV? Sex.
Manual stimulation of your partner, you can get infected. You've got this tiny minute cut that you're not even aware of. And either in stimulating a female, the sexual fluid carries high volumes of the virus, and if that gets into that cut, you've had it.
That pre-cum is loaded with the virus. And that's obviously, the virus is only found in your blood, in your sexual fluids, and then with the woman obviously in the breast milk. That's where you find the virus, in those body fluids. I think if I can leave a message or whatever, some words to ponder about, is just how responsible am I, is that we understand and acknowledge the fact that if we are not responsible in the way that we have our sex, then obviously there is a risk.